télé. On va ressauter.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it?
Tout à fait, ça va redémarrer une fois de plus. Ah les amis, on pourra donc on va retourner là-bas.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
Ah, il nous dit quelque chose de différent de tout à l'heure. Bizarre, bizarre. J'aimerais bien savoir ce qu'il va nous dire après.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
On la connaît, ton
Perhaps he wanted
baratin,
to stop by the employee lounge first,
dit.
just to admire it.
Hop, hop.
The lounge was sublime, a work of art.
Hop,
But
hop,
eager
hop.
to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Hein, faut pas déconner.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Tac tac tac. On passe ici, on va retourner là-bas.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot
Si
here.
on
I'm not your
si on saute en bas, on va mourir. Hein. Je vous
I
avertis tout de
realize that
suite.
investing in
Je
your
ne
trust
sauterai
in
pas
someone
tout en
else
bas.
can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you, or what? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful.
Tu m'as déjà montré avant quelque chose de beau.
Let me prove that I'm on your side.
Il va dire d'aller dans le côté rouge.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Et nous, on prend la porte bleue.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Non, on prend la bleue.
I still don't think we're communicating. Stanley walked through the red door.
Elle est là, la bleue.
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
Qu'est-ce donc ici?
You see, there's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted?
C'est pas très beau,
Was it
hein,
worth
bon.
ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better?
Tu aurais pu améliorer
What
ce
did you
jeu,
want
que
to
tu arrêtes de
see?
parler.
Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with
Des
me. You give me
véhicules, ah ouais.
absolutely nothing
Des
so
points de
far.
compétence, oh
Tell you
super.
what,
Du skill
take
aussi,
a
du
stab in the
skill,
dark
c'est
at a
tout
new
ce qu'on veut.
design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before.
Ah,
Go
la
ahead,
porte est
Stanley.
sympa, je
Take
vais
it for a
passer par là.
spin.
Je vais tester cette option, elle est sympa.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience
Please
with this
wait
new
to
version.
experience.
Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be
Critique
honest. I'm
constructive.
looking for some
Oh,
real
ouais.
critical feedback
Quand même
here.
lui mettre un 4 parce qu'il était pas mal.
Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Clearly there's something here that speaks to you. If I can be honest here, I really don't have any idea where I'm going with this. This whole third door thing was just a stab in the dark. But I guess you're into it, so let's keep
Ouais,
this
j'aime
party
bien.
train rolling. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it
Ouais,
out
je
of
veux
the
voir
park
ça,
with
je
this
veux
one.
voir ça.
Let's take a look.
Je vais voir cette nouvelle version. Stanley Parable. World Wide Board. « 91 730 doors open. 80 armor attacked. Only the worst. This is you. 7h36, you are objectively ranked 9328 of 9000. Haha, il met dernier l'enfoiré. Why not test some friends for help? Error, friends list empty. J'ai pas de liste d'amis. Quel enfoiré. This is your supérieur. Il a mis que 3 heures. Ah, le bâtard.
Now, Would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to
Ah,
give
le
it some
mec, il veut me
playtesting.
faire tester son
You
jeu
wouldn't
en
mind
plus.
taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Non. Il va démarrer The Stanley Parable.
In this
C'est quoi ce jeu?
the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very
C'est
meaningful
quoi ce jeu de
all
barbare?
about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure
Allons-y,
to keep
testons.
notes on your experience.
Ah, c'est chiant. Ah, c'est chiant le bruit. Vas-y, crève en enfer, sale bébé.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do.
Non, c'était le son était trop
Ideas.
dégueulasse.
I
Le son
can't
de ce
think
bouton
of a
était
single
chiant.
thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here?
Non, je veux pas tester le jeu à quelqu'un d'autre.
Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Il va me faire tester le jeu à quelqu'un d'autre. Et putain, on n'a pas fini ce let's play, il va durer 10 heures. Minecraft?
Well, Stanley, is this any better?
Putain,
At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley.
Minecraft, qu'est-ce qu'on fout sur Minecraft?
Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house.
Ça construit tout seul.
Here, no, here, and then.
Il fait une maison en bouse. C'est un porc.
Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete.
Ah, c'est
I
super
made
beau.
this, Stanley.
T'as fait un
Look at it.
super bon boulot.
Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own
Ah ouais,
inadequacy.
là j'ai honte. Hein. Ta
but you've
maison,
only
elle
seen it
surpasse
from
de
the
loin tout ce
outside.
que j'ai pu
You've
faire sur
only gotten half
Minecraft.
the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable.
Ah, j'ai eu l'intérieur, moi, j'ai kiffé, je pense.
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect?
Parce
It could
que
only
les
be better if-
textures sont belles et
Wait.
tout en plus.
That's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to
No.
go mining.
Ah non. T'es énervant là, pourquoi tu vas aller dans une mine? Qu'est-ce que tu vas aller foutre dans une mine? Regarde là, il y a une mine, tu vas aller pouvoir miner.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you
Non,
brought
j'ai
a
pas
light?
amené la lumière, j'ai pas de torche avec moi. Désolé. Pour ceux qui regardent ce let's play, nous ne sommes pas dans Minecraft. Nous sommes dans The Stanley Parable.
Oh, no, 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 no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new
Non,
game.
on change pas de jeu. Ah, je voulais rester sur Minecraft, ça aurait été sympa. Oh, il est énervant ce narrateur. On subit en fait ce qui veut nous faire subir complètement, sans pouvoir opposer d'opposition, quoi que ce soit, opposer d'opposition, sans pouvoir opposer aucune... on est où?
Yes, I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You trapped in a
C'est
glass
Portal?
box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired.
d'être
I
Portal.
couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm
Les chiottes
curious.
sont dégueulasses.
Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Si c'est Portal, sert d'être portal. What? On va jouer à Portal?
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
On peut pas attraper le bloc. Comment on fait pour attraper le bloc? Ah, on va le pousser. On va le pousser comme ça. Ouais, mais Portal, c'est pas comme ça. Non, c'est un peu plus... Ah si, on peut.
Genius.
Ah si, on peut le prendre avec le bloc. On est en train de jouer à Portal sur The Stanley Parable.
You know what? I think that's plenty.
Oh
I
non,
really
je vais
don't care
continuer
much to see you
Portal.
stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience. Which is why, rather than continue to waste my time, I'm just going to leave you here. You can pretend you've beaten the game if it makes it any richer for you, but as for me, I've had enough. So, why don't you get cozy in this room, and if you have any grand revolutionary ideas for the perfect video game, you can just sit there and let it ball up inside you for all eternity.
Ah, j'ai
I
une
don't
grosse idée, là.
need your advice. I don't need your ratings. And I certainly
c'est pas
don't
d'appuyer
need
sur
the
des boutons,
validation of
c'est
a
faux.
man whose job is to push buttons. I think I'll just go about my business, making meaningful cultural contributions to the world. And perhaps every now and then, I'll think back to a man named Stanley who was a...
Moi, je vais tout en bas. Je suis un fou. Tout est détruit en bas. Toutes les pièces sont détruites. Qu'est-ce que c'est que ce bordel? Où suis-je? Où suis-je? Ah, c'est fermé, c'est pas ici. Tout est détruit, les murs sont dégueulasses. J'aimerais savoir où je suis. Le narrateur n'existe plus. C'est très peu éclairé. Il fait tout noir. Il y a toujours des choix qui se freinent régulièrement. Oh, une porte éclairée là-bas. La seule lumière de tout le jeu. Ensuite, pas de lumière. On arrive à la 427. Le bureau de Stanley. Attendez. 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 On dirait là où était le narrateur pour... What?
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon.
La fin sera bientôt là.
Very soon.
Très bientôt.
I can wait.
Je peux patienter. What? Il va pas redémarrer le jeu. S'il redémarre le jeu, mais on va être à l'intérieur cette fois, parce que là on est quand même sur Minecraft, sur Portal, et on atterrit sur The Stanley Parable.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Ah, c'est une nouvelle histoire. Enfin, il faut chercher un nid douillet apparemment.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
ça, c'est
he
de
entered the
gauche.
door on his left.
Il dit toujours la même chose ici, là, par contre.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his
Retourne
boss's
encore chez le
office,
patron.
hoping he might find an answer
Ça va
there.
être la même
Coming to a
histoire qu'avant.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
ça va être la même histoire que tout à l'heure là du coup. Ah, c'est déjà ouvert.
Here's the door, just go.
Ah, merci. Voilà le passage secret avance. Genre le mec il en a ras le bol. Voilà l'ascenseur, appuie sur le bouton. Dépêche-toi là, j'ai un train à prendre. Non, c'est ça quoi, le mec il est trop pressé. Il n'en peut plus d'attendre. Bon bah donc on connaît le chemin, je te remercie.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
On connaît aussi, c'est gentil.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television
On peut pas
screens.
sauter ici, sinon
What
je vais sauter à
horrible
côté.
secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to
Mais oui,
find
on a le
out?
courage de le savoir, on le sait déjà, on va avoir une nouvelle histoire nous. Les nouvelles histoires, c'est ce qu'on aime.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each
Allez,
bore the
monte la
number of an
plateforme.
employee in the building.
Allez,
Stanley's
monte
co-workers.
du
The
plateforme.
lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Hop. Et puis, sur ce bouton,
This mind control
dessin.
facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be
Yeah.
true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
hop.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His
Ah,
own
donc
life
après
in
ça,
someone else's
on
control.
va encore faire une
Never.
solution dont je me
It
rappelle
was
qu'on n'a pas
unthinkable.
encore fait. Et après, je pense
Wasn't
que
it?
c'est
Was it
ici
even
qu'on s'arrêtera
possible?
pour ce très
Had he
beau let's
truly
play
spent his
sur The
entire
Stanley
life
Parable
utterly
où on a
blind to
joué
the
quand même à
world?
Minecraft, il faut le rappeler.
But here was the proof.
Dans The
The
Stanley
heart of the
Parable, on a
operation.
joué à Minecraft
Controls
et à
labeled with
Portal.
emotions. Happy
Et quand même,
or
un
sad
jeu où tu joues à
or
Minecraft et à
content,
Portal, ça
walking,
ne peut être
eating, working,
que
all of it
un bon jeu,
monitored
je
and
pense.
commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past
Personnellement,
began
pour
to
moi, ça
sink
ne peut
in,
être
Stanley decided
qu'un
that this machinery
qu'un
would never
bon
again
jeu.
exert its terrible.
Allez, ferme ta gueule. On lui a mis un off dans la gueule. Il savait pas. Oh, on retourne ici. Avec la porte qui s'ouvre.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Et oui, c'est fini.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine.
On a vaincu la
Unshackled
machine.
himself from someone else's
C'est le même
command.
paysage que tout à l'heure.
Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay
C'est le
unsolved.
même paysage que tout à l'heure
Where
ou pas?
had his co-workers gone?
Non, ça a
How
pas
had
l'air.
he been freed from the machine's grasp?
Ah putain, on
What other
retourne.
mysteries did this strange building hold?
Putain, elle est longue, elle
But
s'ouvre
as
cette porte.
sunlight streamed into the chamber,
Ah, si, elle est
he
toujours là,
realized
oui, si.
none of this mattered to him.
Une fois, c'était un
For it
désert où
was
j'étais
not
apparu là,
knowledge or
ici
even
après.
power that he had
Du
been
coup, là, à chaque
seeking,
fois, c'est une plaine.
but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go,
C'est une route
what
comme
to
ça tout
do,
à l'heure.
or how to feel. Whatever life he lives,
Ah oui, c'était déjà
it
ça.
will be his.
Tout à fait. Donc là, ce qu'on va faire, c'est qu'on va faire recommencer à nouveau. Parce que ça, on l'a déjà vu, cette issue. Vous la connaissez donc. Donc ce qu'on va faire, c'est qu'on va faire une dernière
Someone was
issue.
following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely
Okay,
catch
ça, on
them.
l'a
It
déjà
was
vu
only
tout à
a
l'heure.
matter of time.
Donc on va refaire une dernière issue possible au jeu. Ensuite, on arrêtera là
When
parce
Stanley
que
came to a set of
je
two
pense qu'on a
open
déjà fait
doors,
pas mal
this
d'issues
was
du
not the
jeu,
correct way
selon
to the
moi.
meeting room, and
Et
Stanley
ça
knew
va
it
déjà
perfectly
faire un beau
well.
let's play.
Perhaps he wanted
De
to
toute façon,
stop
je
by
pense
the
pas qu'on
employee
puisse
lounge
faire. J'ai
first,
pas envie
just
non
to
plus de
admire
vous,
it.
vous dévoiler toutes les options possibles et comme ça vous
Standing
pouvez
now in this
choisir pour
incredible
vous quelle est
room,
la fin du
Stanley,
jeu.
for the first
Pour
but
moi, la fin
eager
du
to
jeu,
get back to
c'est
business,
le musée.
Stanley took the
Ou à
first
la fin, on
open door
meurt.
on his
Je
left.
pense que c'est la fin du jeu. C'est tout le temps après. Soit c'est ça la fin du jeu, soit la fin avec Minecraft et
Stanley was so
Portal,
bad
j'aime
at
bien.
following directions. It's
Elle est cool
incredible
comme
he
fin de
wasn't
jeu, je trouve.
fired
Elle
years
est
ago.
vraiment sympa. Donc Donc là on va pas sauter en bas vu qu'on a déjà fait les 2 portes. On a
Look,
déjà
Stanley,
testé
I
le
think
jeu avec
perhaps
le
we've
bébé
gotten
et
off on
le
the
jeu de
wrong
Minecraft
foot
et
here.
de Portal.
I'm not your enemy,
Donc là on va
really,
monter
I'm
tout
not.
là-haut pour voir ce
I
qui s'y trouve.
realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your
Allons
life.
voir ce qu'il y a derrière cette porte.
She's been waiting.
Elle t'a attendu. Qui donc?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this.
Je réponds. Où on est? Où est-on?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven.
Je suis bloqué, je peux pas avancer.
Alright. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Oh, c'est qu'un mannequin.
Oh, come on.
Enfoiré.
Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to
Quel
you?
bâtard.
I'm trying to make
Qui
a point
voudrait bien
here,
se marier avec
Stanley.
quelqu'un comme toi?
Trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Montre-moi.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Bonjour, application à celle. Veuillez appuyer sur B sur votre appareil.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of
Regardez,
his
il bosse,
existence.
Puis sur LB, mais va te faire foutre.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly
Quel
what he's told to
enfoiré.
do. Now he's
Regarde-le en
pushing
train d'appuyer sur des
buttons.
boutons et de faire être
Now,
renseignement.
he's
En
eating
même temps, oui,
lunch.
sinon on n'avance
Now
pas dans le
he's
jeu.
going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Appuie sur B, mais
But in
oui, j'ai
his
appuyé sur
mind,
B.
in his mind, he can go
Ah,
on
j'ai une
fantastic
merveilleuse aventure dans ma tête
adventures.
en appuyant sur
From
les
behind
boutons.
his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new
Mais je suis un
lands.
fou,
It was
moi.
wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to
Tout à
him.
fait.
And so he began to fantasize about his own
Il n'y avait
job.
pas de thé dans cette
First,
pièce.
he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his
Ah, c'est pas la même heure
co-workers,
que
his
tout à l'heure.
boss, everyone
Là,
in the
il est
building had suddenly vanished off the face of
5h25.
the earth.
Ce était
The thought
11h25, je crois.
excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something
On est en train de
was
casser
almost
toute
too
l'histoire qu'on a
wonderful
vécue
to
avant.
behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and
L'enfoiré
mind
dit qu'on a tout inventé ce qu'on a
and down
pensé.
another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions, and down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Ah, l'enfoiré, il fait croire
It
qu'on a
was
tout
such a
inventé.
wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Là, il est en train de pourrir tout ce
But
qu'on
there
a
is
fait,
no
en fait.
answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here,
Puis
the
lui,
more
quelle vie il a,
invested
vrai.
he gets, the
Mais
more
c'est vrai,
he
ça te fait
forgets
douter,
which
hein.
life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Non, je ne t'écoute pas.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll
Enfin, il m'a
understand that
trahi
every
tellement de
second
fois le
he
narrateur.
remains here, he's
Je peux
electing to
plus
kill
l'écouter.
himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see.
Il va redémarrer le jeu, je pense.
And I tried again.
Veuillez mourir.
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
J'essaie une fois de plus. Et Stanley appuie sur un bouton. Et là, il redémarre le jeu. Oh, c'est pas pareil qu'avant. On va quand même
All
faire
of his
encore cette
co-workers
partie.
were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
C'est par où? Ah, là.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Là, ça recommence comme avant. Donc les amis, c'est sur ces 2 portes que je vais vous laisser. Donc, pour ceux qui ne le savent pas, donc j'ai enregistré tout le let's play d'un coup. Donc en fait, c'est pour ça que vous avez eu des séparations entre chaque épisode et qu'au début de chaque épisode, vous n'aviez pas de bonjour ou de présentation du nouvel épisode. Donc voilà. En tout cas, n'hésitez pas à mettre un petit pouce vert si vous avez aimé ce let's play sur The Stanley Parable, à mettre bien sûr des commentaires pour me dire vos impressions. Et bien sûr à me dire les solutions que vous avez trouvées si je ne les ai pas toutes faites, parce que c'est tout à fait possible. En tout cas, je vous dis merci d'avoir suivi ce let's play sur The Stanley Parable, un petit let's play sur un jeu bien sympa qui est pas cher sur Steam. Et je vous dis à bientôt sur la chaîne Rembobine et Gosse pour de nouvelles aventures, sur de nouveaux jeux complètement loufoques, complètement barrés, ou sur des jeux un peu anciens ou des nouveaux jeux. Donc je vous dis à bientôt les amis, merci à tous de m'avoir suivi sur ce let's play de The Stanley Parable, et des gros bisous, c'était Goz sur Rembobine et Goz pour The Stanley Parable. Allez à bientôt les amis, des bisous.